Welcome back to Word Around the 254. Today is the 7th of July 2024, a day when Kenya celebrates Saba Saba Day. It holds great weight and meaning in our country's history, and that's why it has been likened to what we are currently experiencing with the Reject Finance Bill protests. Which takes us back to the roots when Kenyans took to the streets on the 7th of July 1990 demanding for free elections. It actually goes back to 1978 when Mzee Jomo Kenyatta passed away before completing his term in office as the first president of Kenya. And according to our constitution, Daniel Toroitich arap Moi, who was by then the Prime Minister of Kenya, took over as acting president before fully ascending to the seat barely 2 months after Kenyatta's death. Charles Njonjo, who was the Attorney General at the time, is said to have orchestrated Moi's ascension to power. And it's a position that Moi will hold for 20 years, which made him Kenya's longest-serving president. It sowed a seed of political betrayal, and other politicians who had their eyes set on the presidential seat didn't like Moi's dictatorship. Moi's regime will then amend the constitution to introduce Section 2A, which made Kenya a single-party state. The constitution amendment actually came after the Kenyan Air Force attempted a coup to overthrow Moi's government, leading to the arrest of several key political figures. And a lot happened in 1982, beginning with the construction of Nyayo House, which is historically known as the then government's torture chambers. The growing displeasure with Moi's government finally reached a climax on 7th July 1990 when Kenya witnessed its largest nationwide protests. Charles Rubia and Kenneth Matiba led the calls for multiparty democracy, but days before Kenyans took to the streets, they were arrested. Other key organizers, including Raila Odinga, Njeru Gadhangu, and George Anyona, were detained and beaten up.
I am glad to inform Kenyans that I have today assented to the bill as a sign of my commitment to political reform.
And the biggest victory that came out of it was that Moi was forced to repeal Section 2A of the Constitution, which made Kenya a multi-party state. Sadly, the victory came at a cost. 20 Kenyans lost their lives and thousands were left injured. Kenya will hold its first multi-party elections in 1992 with 8 political parties participating. Kenyans were also finally at liberty to enjoy the freedom of speech and assembly, which were rights the then government had curtailed. So currently, Saba Saba is a day when civil society organizations and human rights defenders call for an end to police brutality and the respect of our constitution. As we mark our country's 34th Saba Saba Day, we would like to dedicate it to our fallen heroes. We send our thoughts and prayers to everyone who lost a loved one during the recent Reject Finance Bill protests.